Three tips not to backslide this summer. And I just want to say really quickly, in case anybody watches this at some point, doesn't know who I am, my name is Lita, and I am not a doctor. But I'm super passionate about keto and all the ways that we can improve our health naturally. But please know that I am not a doctor. So anything that we talk about here, if you're interested, discuss it with your doctor first before embarking on anything new. Okay, so talking about this summer. So we have had an extremely long year, like crazy year, right? Like this has been the hardest year for, I'm pretty sure most of us have ever had in our lives. And now life is finally starting to get back to normal. You guys in the States are ahead of us here in Canada, but we're also starting to get a little bit more back to normal here too. And it's just awesome. We're so excited to be spending time with our loved ones, our friends, our family. And this is awesome news. But what happens with this is eating and drinking. I don't know about you guys, but socializing for me always has an eating and a drinking component. I can either be, really not great, or I can be super on my game and still have a good time. It really is how I'm going to, make that decision. And like I said before, it's not about judging whatsoever. Everyone's going to do what they want. But I think this summer, more than probably any summer since we have been together here, is probably going to be the party kind of summer, right? Because we've had such a long stretch of not socializing. And just thinking about, where we're at now, where we'd like to be, we don't want to undo all of our hard work. And we don't want to go so far back that we feel like we're starting all over again, which I was kind of just talking about because I almost feel like I'm like at that point right now myself, but I digress. It doesn't matter. Wherever you are right now is fine. But between now and September, because September is kind of a time where people really get excited about hitting it hard. I don't know, like my kids are long out of school, but I always think of September as a rejuvenation time, kind of starting like really hitting it hard and stuff like that. So we're definitely going to do that together in the group, but we've got these couple of months, and how are we going to spend these couple of months? Like I really, myself personally, I don't want to go so far backseas over the summer that I feel like when September comes, I'm just trying to make up for what I did in the summer and I'm not actually getting ahead. So I think what's really important is to think about what you really want. I know we're kind of conditioned to always think about, getting ahead. Like we always want to lose weight. We always want to get healthier and stuff. Like that's always on our mind all the time. But I want you to think about the possibility of being okay with maintaining, just as a thought process. Okay. So hear me out. We tend to, as humans and women, a lot of us are all or nothing kind of people. I think that's just a very, very common thing for a lot of us. I can sure say that I'm like that. And so like most of the time I'm usually hitting it really hard, or I'm kind of like off. I don't have as much of a middle ground. I sure wish I did. And we're really trying to work on it, but that's not really natural for most people. And so if you're in a time like the summer where you're going to socialize a lot and vacations and barbecues and parties and things like that, if you're not in the, hi, Joe, if you're not in the mindset of, I am in the zone right now, I don't care what happens, I am hitting it hard, right? You know when you're feeling like that. When you're feeling like that, nothing can stop you. There could be a box of Krispy Kremes sitting right in front of you and you could not care less. Literally, you don't care about stuff like that. And if you're in that zone, keep on going. But I'm talking to the people that are kind of like, yeah, I'm kind of doing it. And I'm not sure if I'm really like wanting to hit it hard right now. And it's summer and I'm not really sure, whatever. I want you to think about the idea that maybe maintenance is okay. Maybe maintenance is okay. Because sometimes when we really try to push something and it's not the right time, we can go too far the other way. Do you ever find like that? Do you ever feel like that? Like you're working really, really, really hard, but then this thing comes up and you're like, oh, it's summer, for goodness sake. I just want to live. I just want to enjoy myself. And then you go really far the other way. And it's really hard to kind of bring yourself back. So that's one of the ideas I had for you guys, is just to consider maintenance for the summer, just as an idea, and what that would look like for you. Okay. So I'm going to give you my top 3 tips to not backslide. And this really applies for whether you're trying to just kind of maintain, or if you are actually trying to move forward, with what you're doing right now. So my tip number 1 is planning ahead. This kind of goes without saying, right? If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. I mean, that kind of goes without saying. I even find, like, if we're going to go for dinner or something like that, if I haven't given it a little bit of a thought as to what I'm going to have, or kind of take a little peek online at the menu or something like that, I get there and I'm smelling all kinds of stuff. And if I didn't really have that plan in my mind, it's really, really easy to go off. So knowing what your plan is overall, I like to look ahead at my whole week. I like to look ahead and see what I have going on socially, for work, people visiting, etc., so that I kind of have a handle on what I'm doing. If you have any kind of functions, that is a great time that maybe you want to do OMAD, if you guys are into 1 meal a day, or do some fasting or something like that, so that you can participate a little bit more when you're having your social time. If you're going to a potluck, for example, you're going to a potluck, ahead of time, ask what you can bring. Is it okay if I bring such and such? And then you know that you have got that for yourself. Having something before you go, that's always a really good idea. I love to have my anti-aging drink. You guys know how much I love that. And it's great with protein and collagen and fat. And I have that before I leave for a function. And then when I get to the function, I'm not ravenous. That's the thing that I really don't want to be, is ravenous when I arrive at my function. That's always a disaster if I'm hungry. The other thing too is always have your arsenal ready. Okay. I have some things to show you guys. I've showed you this before, but there could be somebody in here. Hi, Amanda. There could be some people in here that haven't seen my little tricks that I have in my purse. I carry a big purse. But you don't have to have a big purse to have these things. But I really, truly like to have my favorites. Okay. So one of the favorites that I love to have is these little stevia drops. You can get anything. Is it called Mayo, whatever? There's all kinds of them. This is the one I like because it's Sweet Leaf is the brand, and it's sweetened with stevia, and there's no artificial anything in it. And the flavor is really, really good. This one here is called Peach Mango. It's my ultimate favorite. And I don't know why they call it mango, to be honest with you, because I taste no mango. You know what I taste? Nectarine peach combo. So good. But anyways, I always keep this in my purse, because then when I go to my social function, I just get like a big glass of water with ice, and I put some squirts of this in there, and then I have my drink. Or I bring, like, if I'm bringing, a cooler or something like that, I'll have this is from President's Choice. It's just like a flavored drink. It's sweetened with stevia. Again, obviously you can tell that's my favorite flavor. Or you can get any kind of like Zevia energy drinks if you're trying to like keep yourself up late or whatever. And just a little side note, really good with vodka. I will tell you that this one here is amazing with vodka. Anyways, but those are some things that I will take with me if I'm going on a function. In my purse all the time, I always keep my, hold this up so that you can see my MCT oil capsules. Always keep these in my purse, because whether I'm feeling like I just need a hit of fat because I'm starting to get hungry, or I'm having a salad or something like that, I keep a safety pin right inside. This is just like a little Tupperware container, but I'm sure you can get like from the dollar store or something. This is some Tupperware. And you pop it, and I squirt it on top of my salad, add a little bit of vinegar that's on the table if I'm eating out, whatever, and I make my own salad dressing. So I have those in my purse all the time. And also my fave, I have my MCT powder, and of course, we're not going to put this big gigantic container in our purse, but again, just this little tiny container, and I've got probably like 4 servings in here. And if I'm going out for dinner or I'm at a function, I love to have a cup of coffee. Like, I know it sounds like hoo-hoo party, but you know what? It helps me to keep awake. And I feel like it's like a dessert for me. It's like a treat for me to have a cup of coffee in the evening. And so I will put this in because I have no idea what they're going to have. And of course I have my stevia in my purse, and I will have that cup of coffee as my dessert. So those are things that really, really help if you are going out to a function or you're going out for dinner or something. And that's part of the tip number 1, planning ahead. But there was something else. It'll come to me. Okay. Tip number 2 for not blowing it this summer. It is the one and done. I've talked about this many times, of course, but one and done, you know the definition. You have your one off and then you're done and you're right back to keto. But let's take it a step further. Okay. So we're not going to let the one meal become a day. We're not going to let the day become a weekend. We're not going to let the weekend become a week. That idea, it really, really is important, because I think a lot of times people think in their mind, I was doing really well and now I went off. Okay. No judgment on the going off. But then after that, they feel so bad about themselves. They just feel so bad about themselves that they say, oh, what the heck? I might as well keep on eating more. Or they allow that one time to go on longer than it should. And this is the worst part. The blood sugar is going to go up and your resolve is going to go down. And it's so easy. It's so easy to not make good decisions because your blood sugar is now dictating what you're doing. So the tighter you can keep your one and done, the better. I'm not advocating for you to go off. I'm just saying that if you do, keep it small, keep it as tight as you can, and get right back on as quickly as you can. Okay, my tip number 3 is fasting, intermittent fasting and fasting, okay? If you have a busy summer and you have a lot of social things, consider doing more intermittent fasting and fasting during the times that you don't have anything going on, because that really does help make up for a lot. It really, really does. And so that right there could make the difference between gaining weight and maintaining your weight. And possibly you might even like still lose weight, even if you're not totally on your game. You could do 16-8 every day. You could do an OMAD whenever it works. You could do like a 48 or more extended fast if you happen to have the time during the week, or like when you don't have anything social going on. And then when you know you have social stuff going on, that gives you like a little bit more freedom. You guys have to know what works for you. Like I myself, if I go off too much, I can't, my blood sugar just goes up so much that I have such a hard time getting back. I try the best that I can to rein it in and keep it as short as possible. But you guys know yourself, right? If you know that you can go off for a little bit longer, some people say, oh yeah, I went on vacation for a week and I totally enjoyed myself and now I'm back on track or whatever. You're so lucky. I'm really happy for you that you can do that. A lot of us can't do that. So you just really have to know yourself. You really have to know if that is something that you can do. But these are my main tips, because last summer we had this conversation. I remember having this conversation, all of us. And then September came along and there were so many people that said, oh, why did I go off so much? Why didn't I just allow myself a little bit, or why wasn't I just okay with maintenance? Maintenance is okay too. Seriously, if September came along and I really just pretty much maintained, I truly would be happy, because generally speaking, that's not what happens. And I'm definitely striving for that this year. I don't want to come to September being worse off than I am right now. But anyway, so tip number 1, planning ahead. Tip number 2, keeping your one and done really tight. And tip number 3, intermittent fasting and fasting whenever possible. If you guys are into that, like if you're already doing that. And if you haven't done it and you're interested in doing that, please go to guide number 6. I've got all kinds of information in there for you. So you guys tell me, what do you think about this? Do you feel like, sorry, my finger's just like moving board here. Do you feel like in the summertime, do you have a hard time reining it in? Do you feel like you're more the, hit it really hard, but then maybe you kind of go backsies? Do you normally kind of say, you know what, I just kind of maintain and just kind of go with the flow, and maybe a little bit of a lazy keto situation, and then I have periods of time where I hit it hard? I'd just be curious what you guys do normally in the summertime. And yeah, I just wanted to give these tips because it would sure be nice if when September comes and we do our challenges and we do more things, if the consensus is, hey, I maintained all summer, or I did pretty good this summer, I wasn't as bad as I thought. So it'd be really nice for us to start at that point. So let me know. Carmen says, I have no power to say no to a lot of food I'm not supposed to eat, and it helps a lot. Okay. And Kim says, saves me every time. Yeah, it is really difficult to say no when you're in these social situations. I'm guessing that's what you guys are talking about. I find it really, really hard if I don't plan ahead and I don't set myself up for success. If I go anywhere on an empty stomach, it's pretty much game over for me when I see those really good food and stuff. But if I have like a protein shake or something like that before I go, it really does take the edge off. It just, I firmly believe that like our blood sugar really is our gauge, and it helps us, in what our decision making is, our decision making process. And if the blood sugar can be nice and even, and if our hunger can be not so high when we go off to these things, it just makes it so much easier. It really, really does. And I don't care, like if I'm actually traveling, well, haven't done it for a year, but like now when I start traveling, I will pack my container of MCT powder and my collagen and my bone broth or whatever. I will take whatever I need to do. In fact, usually I make up like little containers, and I will make my anti-aging shake, which is my bone broth powder, my collagen, and my MCT powder. And I will put them together in a little container so they're basically just ready to go. And all I have to do is just add my flavoring and sweetener to it. And then I can have it with water. It's actually not bad. Almond milk is my preference. And usually if I'm staying at someone's house, they would have something like that, right? So I can just throw that in, or maybe I'll bring it with me. But suffice it to say, I do bring stuff like that with me, and I don't think it's weird. I don't think it's weird at all. In fact, one time when I went to Mexico, I actually packed that stuff in my container, in my suitcase. And I was so worried that it was going to like break open or something. Can you imagine all this white powder in my suitcase? Oh, that wouldn't have been good at the airport. But anyways, I took it with me and I put them in Ziploc bags or whatever, because I was going to be there for 2 weeks. And I wanted to know that I had that with me to help me in my day, because I knew that it was going to be a challenge with that buffet and all those good foods and stuff like that. And it really did help. It was so nice to have my fatted coffee, even when I was on vacation. So let's see what you guys have to say. Amanda, summer is usually easier to keep on track because my summer's so busy. It's easier to stick with the 18-6 intermittent fasting almost daily. Oh, that's awesome, Amanda. Good. That's awesome. That's not everyone finds the summer easier. It's weird because in some aspects it can be easier because we have all this amazing like fresh vegetables and some great berries that are in season and things like that. And so sometimes it can be really easy with the schedule and stuff. But then some people, it's like, oh my gosh, vacations, barbecue, socializing, whatever. And I guess it depends on what your triggers, I guess, are. For me, socializing will always be a huge one for me because, like I said, the food and the alcohol, I mean, come on, let's face it. And then once you start getting into the booze, then, usually you start eating a little bit more or whatever. I have to admit, I do love a nice drink, even though I have been like almost abstinent. Is that the word? Abstinent for like a year. And I thought, wow, that's actually pretty good. Like during the whole pandemic and everything, I haven't had a drink. And then I realized, yeah, because you're a social drinker. You're more of a social drinker than I don't typically just sit around and go, oh, gee, I feel like a drink here, sitting here all by myself or whatever. I'm a social drinker. So when I'm around other people, that's when I really want to have a drink. Anyways, I digress. Since we're talking about alcohol, that's another thing too. When you're going to your parties, your barbecues or whatever, take something with you. Have something with you so that you guys have seen these before, they're like low carb vodka drinks or whatever. Now, some people love these. I myself find them extremely low in alcohol. If I'm going to have a drink, I'm going to have a drink. So just for me personally, I will have one of these, but then I will add like another shot of vodka, or I will use this in sparkling water or Zevia tonic water, and I will add my vodka. Like that's just me. I really do enjoy vodka, and it is low carb. And so if I'm treating myself, I will just put in my own vodka. I have a flask. So I bring my own flask. That's just me. Some people really love these drinks. It's like I equate this with like, you know, that bubbly drink, bubbly, whatever it's called. Some people love that drink. I think it's good, but there's like really not a lot of flavor in it for me. So I tend to mix it half and half with like a Zevia pop, or I will add these drops to it to make it sweeter. Like to me, it just like has no taste. So if I'm going to drink something like that, I'll just drink water. Like, I guess that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't need to even drink something like that because to me, it doesn't have a lot of flavor, but everybody likes different things. So if that's what you love, bring stuff like that. Bring a cooler with you. Like, totally do whatever works for you that's going to help you to be successful. I have no problem bringing, like if I'm going to someone's house, I'll have my own little cooler. Like it's a little cooler. It's really cute. I have my drinks in there. I've got my little, food that I want. I asked ahead if I could bring something for the potluck to share, and I'll bring something like that. And I'll bring that baby with me. I have no problem with it. If I'm going to the movies or something, which we haven't been able to do for a year, but apparently starting tomorrow, we're allowed to. I'm very giddy and very excited. I will bring stuff in my purse, and I don't feel bad about, you know what, I paid money for that ticket and I wasn't going to pay for the popcorn or whatever anyway. So if in my purse I have my Zevia pop and I've got my, veggie sticks or whatever I'm going to have, I bring that in my purse, and that's what I do. Yeah. So I think you just really need to do what works for you and just have your arsenal ready, because when you have your stuff organized, you are going to be so much more successful than when you kind of go, you know what, I'm just not going to have. Really? That never works. Like, I don't think saying no really works. I think having a replacement is what works. So just making sure you have something as that replacement. Carmen, yes, I too am a social drinker, but all I drink is tequila. I haven't had a shot in 3 years. I love tequila. I love tequila. Yeah, that tequila is actually my favorite shot. So if I'm like at a party or what, see, I just got excited just thinking about tequila. If I'm doing shots, it'll be tequila. If I'm drinking, like nursing a drink all night, it'll be vodka. And I sort of rotate between the two. I am a little bit concerned about now that we're getting back into socializing and stuff. I am a little bit worried because I had sort of said to myself that this summer I was going to try really hard not to drink too much because, it slows down fat loss. Let's face it. If you're going really good and then your liver has to deal with that, it stops everything to deal with that. But even if I could deal with that aspect of it, the part that's hard is that it's really easy for me to say, and then go ahead and eat some carby stuff that happens to be sitting there in a bowl near me, because my resolve always goes down when I'm drinking. So I don't know what's going to happen. I think I'm just going to have to really, really watch it. Maybe choose very wisely when I'm going to drink and not do it all the time. That's my plan anyways. We'll see what happens. Amanda, vodka with sparkling ice, pink grapefruit. Oh yes, totally. And also, Amanda, have you tried, you can get, well, you're in the States, so you can get the brand Sky, but also Absolute. Here in Canada, we don't have Sky. Sky's my favorite. Absolute's my second favorite. Grapefruit vodka. Oh, I can't tell you. I can't tell you how awesome that is. And you put that, a lot of times I will just put that in Zevia tonic water on ice, but you could also put it in the ice pink grapefruit. Like, you can mix them together. Amazing. Amazing. So yeah, this is turning into an alcohol talk. that could be another topic that we talk about another time, which we usually do around New Year's, but I guess summertime is also a good time. But I'm a huge grapefruit and like the nectarine flavor, like those are my two absolute favorites. I love grapefruit. So Amanda, I don't know if you saw it before, but I don't know if you've tried this Zevia energy drink. And there's 0 carbs, 0 sugar. It's all natural. Grapefruit by itself is amazing. With a shot of vodka, enough said. Enough said. It's amazing. That's also very good. You can probably get that on Amazon in the States. Here in Canada, I have to get it at my health food store, so I haven't seen it on Amazon here. But anyways, you guys, so that was kind of my message today. I just wanted to see how you guys were feeling about summer, and I guess if I'm gonna just bring it home of what my over message is, it's okay to maintain. It's okay if you don't want to hit it super hard this summer, even by doing the things that we talked about, planning ahead, keeping the one and done tight, and fasting. If you're going off, you probably are still just going to maintain, right? If you're really hitting it hard, those things still apply. They absolutely still apply. But I guess what I'm trying to say is if you don't try it all and you're kind of just winging it, the odds are really good there's going to be a gain. The odds are very good. So if that's something that you don't want to do, then try some of these tips for the summer to kind of help you, keep it a little bit more keto. And if you guys are really hitting it hard this summer, that's awesome. I am hitting it hard. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm not planning to go off or anything. Like I was saying in the group that for the next like 6 weeks, I'm sticking to my go back to basics keto, because I'm trying to get myself back. I realized that I was way out of ketosis and didn't realize how far out of ketosis I was. And I thought I could fast my way back into ketosis. And my hormones are just not jiving. My hormones are not jiving. I have to get back to the high fat model and do that for a while and get my hormones all regulated and everything. And then it's going to stick. And then I'm going to feel so much better. Already, this has only been this is just in the first week for me, in the first 7 days of going back to it. I feel so much better already. I can just feel the difference. I was pushing something that was just too much for me. If any of you guys are insulin resistant or you have a blood sugar issue, or you're diabetic or whatever, if you've been off for a long time, jumping right into fasting is not a good idea. And it really is not even going to work as good. It's not going to work even close to being when you started originally in keto and you're doing the high fat and you did your, 4 to 6 weeks, maybe 8 weeks of regular keto before you started kind of switching it up and adding some fasting or whatever. It makes such a difference. And anyways, like I said, I'm going to do a totally different talk on this topic because it's a whole topic in itself. But if any of you guys out there have been struggling because you were off and now you're trying to get back on and you're going, well, why isn't it working this time? That's why. That is why right there. I'm just going to leave you with that tip. Go back to basics. In guide number 2 is new to keto and recommitting to keto. All that information is in there. But going back to our high fat model of 70% fat, 25% protein, and 5% carbs. That has to be our home for like 4 to 6 weeks. And then we need to get into this other stuff after. Don't jump the gun and get into a bunch of fasting. It's really hard for a lot of people. But anyways, I'm going to leave you with that, you guys, tonight. And I hope you guys have a really nice night. Thanks a lot for joining me here. And I will talk to you guys in the group. Okay, take care. Bye-bye. Hey guys, before you go, hit the like and subscribe button if you haven't already, and hit the bell notification so you can be notified every time we have a new video posted. Also, down in the description, I will have links to everything that we talked about in our chat today, including information on how you can join my Intentionally Bare Keto support group. See you next time.